Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Jai Gauranatharavinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste. तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदानेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। बोलो श्री राधे गोलोकानंद भगवान की
जय।
श्रीमद् भागवतम की
जय।
जय।
हरे कृष्णा। हरे कृष्णा ईशा।
हरे कृष्णा।
रीना जी हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा भैया। हरे कृष्णा एवरीवन।
हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण।
आफ्टर जन्माष्टमी हम लोग अभी मिल रहे हैं, राइट?
नहीं, इसके बाद हुआ था ना, जन्माष्टमी की दिन एक दिन ही बंद किया था हम लोगों ने।
हाँ, राइट राइट, वी डिड इट, राइट, ट्यूसडे एंड वेडनेसडे। या करेक्ट करेक्ट। अभी गणेश चतुर्थी शुरू हो गई है। इज द गणेश चतुर्थी टाइम। लास्ट वीक वी हैड दैट, so nice auspicious days, and then we have Radha Ashtami coming up on 11th September, if you know that. So there'll be Radha Ashtami. Radha Ashtami के दिन हम लोग, which is Wednesday, right? It's Wednesday.
Yes.
So we'll hear the Radha Ashtami. बहुत ही प्यारा राधा अष्टकम है. We'll hear that on September 11. सभी शुरू करते हैं वापस. हम लोग लास्ट टाइम जब पढ़ रहे थे, we started 17th chapter, 8वें स्कंद का, और 21st श्लोक पे थे, right? So जैसा कि इस अध्याय में हम लोग पढ़ रहे हैं, Aditi, yeah, Mother Aditi, first prays to Lord Vishnu, yeah. It's called Payovrit tapasya. Aditi माता कर रही है भगवान विष्णु की आराधना, and she is doing it because who tells us to do that? You remember?
Her son.
अदिति माता को ये पायोव्रत तपस्या करने के लिए कौन उपाय बताते हैं?
Kashyap Muni.
Kashyap Muni, right? Kashyap Muni is the husband of Aditi, Mother Aditi. Kashyap Muni comes back after a long tapasya, where we know that Bali Maharaj conquers, right, the Devlok. Devatas disappear, and Devatas are son of
Devtas are son of Aditi Mata.
right, yeah. So Aditi Mata is then, of course, very upset. She wants to see all her sons, or all the Devatas, back, and to get that, Kashyap Muni advises her to do Payavrit Tapasya of Bhagwan Vishnu. Aditi Mata does that successfully, and then Bhagwan Vishnu appears, gives darshan to Aditi Mata, and then he promises to Aditi Mata that he will actually take birth to Aditi Mata and Kashyap. Yeah, that's what Bhagwan Vishnu tells. And then he, of course, also advises him to continue doing Aradhana of Kashyap Muni himself, because Kashyap Muni himself was the biggest devotee doing tapasya, right? So that's what Aditi Mata is doing. And we are reading regarding that, what happens, how Lord Vishnu takes birth to Mother Aditi. Yeah. and how he agrees to be son of Aditi Mata. So last time हमने 20th श्लोक पढ़ा था, अभी आज 21st से शुरू करते हैं अनिल जी.
श्री शुकवाच एतावदुक्त्वा भगवांस्तत्रैव वान्तधीयतः अदितिर्दुर्लभं लब्ध्वा हरेर्जन्मात्मनि प्रभोः उपाधावत पतिं भक्त्या पर्याकृतकृत्यवत्. Sukadeva Goswami said, after speaking in this way, the Supreme Personality of God had disappeared from that very spot. Aditi, having received the extremely valuable benediction that the Lord would appear as her son, considered herself very successful, and with great devotion she approached her husband. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so Bhagwan Vishnu, as we also read in previous shloks, how even Brahmaji did the glorification of Lord Vishnu, how Aditi Mata did the glorification, and what is being mentioned here is Aditi Durlabham Labdhva Hare Janma Atmani Prabhu. Like, who gets this benediction that Lord himself will take birth, right? Lord himself will appear as her son, right? Lord never takes a birth, right? But he appears. So, who gets this, having received the extremely valuable benediction? Yeah, Adurlabham, that the Lord would appear as her son, and then Lord Vishnu, yeah, disappears from this spot. And of course, so the devotional, which was known as Payavrat Vrat, is so successful of Aditi Mata. Sure, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Savai samadhiyogen kashyapastadabudhyat pravishtamatmani hareransham avitheshnaha. Being situated in a meditational trance, Kashyap Muni, whose vision is never mistaken, could see that a plenary portion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead had entered within him. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So what is really being mentioned is Samadhi Yogena, yeah, situated in the meditational trance. Who was situated? Kashyap Muni. Yeah. And because he's in Samadhi Yogen, and he could see Pravishta Atmani who Hare Ansha. Yeah, Hari, Bhagwan Vishnu, right, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, had entered within him as a plenary portion. Yeah, so Kashyap Muni could visualize and could see that. Ajay?
Sure. So Adityam Viryamadatta Tapasa Chir Samritam Samahit Mana Rajandarunya Ragni Yatha Nilaha. O king, as the wind promotes friction between the two pieces of wood and thus gives rise to the fire, Kashyap Muni, whose transcendental position was fully absorbed in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, transferred his potency into the womb of Aditi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So nice, let's read this. Isha?
Here it may also be appropriate to explain in these days of controversy the origin of life. The life force of the living entity, the soul, is different from the ovum and semen of the human being. Although the conditioned soul has nothing to do with the reproductive cells of man and woman, he is placed into the proper situation because of his work. Vāmanadeva netrena. Life is not, however, a product of two secretions, but is independent of all material elements. As fully described in Bhagavad Gita, the living entity is not subject to any material reactions. He can neither be burnt by fire, cut by sharp weapons, moistened by water, nor dried by the air. He is completely different from the physical elements, but by a superior arrangement, he is put into these material elements. He is always aloof from material contact. Asangohi Svayam Purusha. But because he is placed in a material condition, he suffers the reactions of the material modes of nature. Purusha Prakriti Stohi Bhungte Prakriti Jan Gunan Karanam Gunashango Asya Sadasad Yoni Janmasu. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil amongst various species. Although the living entity is aloof from the material elements, he is put into material conditions, and thus he must suffer the reactions of material activities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So what is being explained here is that the living entity, right, the soul, the consciousness, right, the living entity soul is not subject to any material reactions, right? So we have this gross body, then we have the Sthul Sharir, and then Suksham Sharir, right, the shuttle body. And what is the shuttle body composed of?
Mind, intelligence, and ego.
Right, yeah, so three elements are shuttle body, Suksham Sharir, mind, intelligence, and ego. And as we all know, the Sthul Sharir, which is this body, is composed of those five elements, right? Earth, fire, Akash, Vayu, and water. Yeah, so those Sthul Sharir and the Suksham Sharir. So those are the materialistic elements. But really within that, there is a soul. And the soul is the living entity. And what is mentioned here is, and we have read this in Gita, right? The soul is never burnt by fire, cut by weapons, moist by water, dried by the air. The soul is everlasting. Yeah. Sat Chit Anand. That's what soul is. But what is mentioned is because of our wish, what has happened is we have got into this materialistic world. And what happens then is once we are placed in material condition, then we have to suffer the reactions of material modes of nature. And what are the material modes of nature? What are the
Satogun, Tamogun, and Rajagun.
right? Yeah, three modes of material nature. Yeah, mode of goodness, Satogun, mode of passion, Rajogun, and mode of ignorance, which is Tamogun. So then we come into that contact, and then what happens is as soon as we are in contact with that, it says, yeah, then we get into the karma cycle. Yeah, we are in the cycle of karmas, and because we are in the cycle of karmas, we must suffer the reactions of material activities. Yeah, and what is the way of getting out of these reactions of material activities? What is the process?
Chanting of Mahamantra.
Right, yeah. Surrendering to Lord Sri Krishna, which is surrendering means the doing the devotional service to Lord Sri Krishna. And then as Shri Prabhu is saying, there are 9 different ways: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pad Sevanam, yeah, Dasham Sakyam are the ways to do the devotional service. Surrendering everything means every karma to Lord Sri Krishna. Then there is no reaction because we have surrendered the karma. There is no reaction to that. If there is no reaction, right, there is no result to suffer from. So then you can go back to Godhead, right? Rinaji?
Adite ardhishtratam garbham bhagvantam sanatanam hiranyagarbho vigyaya samide guhyanamabhi. When Lord Brahma understood that the Supreme Personality of Godhead was now within the womb of Aditi, he began to offer prayers to the Lord by reciting transcendental names. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna says the Lord has taken the Ansh, right? The Anshik avatar is what we read, right? A plenary portion of Lord Vishnu enters into Kashyap Muni and Aditi. Lord Brahma, of course, realizes that, right? Hiranyagarbha is referred to Lord Brahma. He knows that, and then he starts Samide Nam Bhi, means he starts the prayers to Lord Vishnu by reciting transcendental names. So we'll see Lord Brahma's prayers, yeah. And nice purport again. Sri Krishna Sachin.
Hare Krishna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead exists everywhere. Adantara sa parmanu chantara stham. Therefore, when one chants his transcendental names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, The Supreme Personality of Godhead is automatically pleased by such Sankirtan. It is not that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is absent, he is present there, and when a devotee utters the transcendental name, it is not a material sound. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is naturally pleased. A devotee knows that the Lord is present everywhere and that one can please him simply by chanting his holy name. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So what is mentioned here, your Lord Brahma himself, right, is reciting, is devoting, yeah, doing the devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead by chanting the transcendental names. And we have been given the transcendental names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And that is what is mentioned, that Supreme Lord is actually absolute. There is no difference in his name. And that's how we chant. And that's what Lord Krishna hears, right? Shaunam Kirtanam. And it is not a material sound, is what is mentioned. It's by just chanting this holy name, Lord can be pleased. The devotional service can be satisfied, is what is mentioned. Sri Brahmavacha Jai Urugaya Bhagwanu Rukramma Namostute Namo Brahmanya Devaya Sri Gunaya Namo Namah. Lord Brahma said, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, all glories unto you, who are glorified by all and whose activities are all uncommon. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, O Lord of the Transcendentalists, controller of the three modes of nature. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you again and again. Yeah. So Lord Brahma, yeah, Brahma ji, Vishnu Bhagwan ki glorifications, prayers karte hain. And then he mentions Jai Urugaya, all glories unto you. Yeah, he also says Namo Brahmanya Devaya. What Brahmanya Devaya is? Lord of the Transcendentalists. People who have reached to the spiritual heights, right? He is the Lord of them, Brahmanya Devaya. He, of course, is three guna. We just saw the three modes of material nature, right? So he's a controller of three modes of material nature. And of course, I offer my obeisances. Namo Namah is what, how Lord Brahmaji is praying to Lord Krishna. Anilji?
Namaste Prashne Garvaya Veda Garvaya Vedase Trinamaya Tripasthaya Shipi Vishtaya Vishnave. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the all-pervading Lord Vishnu, who have entered the course of the hearts of all living entities. All the three worlds reside within your navel, yet you are above the three worlds. Formerly, you appeared as the son of Krishna. To you, the Supreme Creator, who are understood only through Vedic knowledge, I offer my respectful obeisances. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And who is speaking right now?
Brahmaji.
Brahmaji, yeah. Lord Brahmaji is doing the prayers of Lord Vishnu. And then he continues the glorification. Yeah. He says, Sipi Vishtaya. Yeah. Sipi Vishtaya is like who have entered the course of the hearts of all living entities. Sipi Vishtaya. And all the three words reside within your navel. Three Nabhaya. Yeah, as we know, even Lord Brahmaji appeared from the Nabhi of Lord Vishnu. And all the three words resides within your navel, yet you are above the three words. It says three Prishtaya. Even though all those resides, you are still above the three words. And formerly appeared as the son of Krishna, says here, Krishna Garbhaya, like in the previous Manuvantars, if you remember, we had read, Lord Vishnu appeared as the son of Krishna. And of course, he is Vedase, right? Veda Garbhaya, Vedase. He is understood only through Vedic knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances. This is how Lord Brahma continues to glorify Lord Vishnu. Shri Prabhu?
Okay. Tvama Diranto Bhuvanasya Madhya manantashaktim purusham yamahu kalo bhavna shiptish vishwam stroto yathanta patitam gabhiram. O my Lord, you are the beginning, the manifestation, and the ultimate dissolution of the three worlds. And you are celebrated in the Vedas as the reservoir of unlimited potencies, the Supreme Person. O my Lord, as waves attract branches and leaves that have fallen into deep water, you, the Supreme Eternal Time Factor, attract everything in this universe. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Lord Brahma continues to glorify. You are the beginning, manifestation, and ultimate resolution of the three worlds. Yeah, it says Tvam, Adi. Adi is the original. Anto, right? The ultimate resolution. Bhuvanasya Madhya. Yeah, in the middle. And then he says, Man Ananta Shaktim Purusha. Ananta Shaktim Purusha, right? Celebrated as the reservoir of unlimited potency is the Supreme Person. Right? And this is how Lord Brahma continues to glorify. He says here the time factor is sometimes described as Kal Srota, waves of time. Yeah. Everything in this material world is within the time factor and being carried away by waves of attraction, which represent the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Kal, the time, is nothing but is a manifestation of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ajay?
Sure. Tvam jay prajanam sthir jangam manam prajapati namasi sambhavishnu divokasam dev shachityanam parayanam nauriv majjato apsu. My Lord, you are the original generator of all living entities, stationary or moving, and you are also the generator of the Prajapatis. O my Lord, as the boat is the only hope for a person drowning in the water, you are the only shelter for the demigods who are now bereft of heavenly position. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, again, as you know, Lord Brahmaji is doing this glorification. Yeah, and he's saying, of course, Sthira Jangamana, like for stationary or moving, you are the original generator. Yeah, even including Prajapatis. And he says, Devo Kasam Deva. Right, what he's saying here, the only hope for Devatas. Yeah, why? Because Devatas are now bereft of the heavenly position. Why? Why are they bereft of the heavenly position? Who has taken that on?
Bali Maharaj.
Bali Maharaj, right? If you remember, Bali Maharaj has conquered the heaven. Indradev and all devatas had to disappear, right? And what Brahmaji is saying is you are the only shelter for the devatas. And then, yes, so this is how thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purpose of the 8th canto, 17th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled The Supreme Lord Agrees to Become Aditi's Son. Yeah, Bolo Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Yeah, so how we read how he agrees to become Aditi's son, how Aditi does the Payavrit Vrat, and then how he appears as Anshik Avatar, Kashyap Muni and Aditi Mata, and then how even Lord Brahmaji is doing the glorification. And so now we'll read the Lord Vāmanadeva, that dwarf incarnation. Right? That's the incarnation. That's how he appears to Aditi Mata. That's what we are now going to read about Vāmanadeva. Yeah. So we'll continue.
I have a question here.
Yeah, Ajay.
So Lord Brahma says you are the originator of all the Prajapatis, right? So Lord Brahma is also called Prajapati, right? Is that right? Okay.
That's true. So Prajapati means that in this context, within Srimad Bhagavatam, Prajapati means the Prajapatis who started the universe, right? Like who started the population of the universe, right? So Prajapati is the Lord Brahma, and then all the other, the 9 rishis, and all the Rishi Munis who then started the universe, right? They are all known as like Prajapatis.
Oh.
So that's how is Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu is referred as. He's also the originator, of course, of all Prajapatis, including Lord Brahma, right?
Thank you.
So we'll continue to read. Yeah, we'll start chapter 18. Isha.
Shaka uvacha Ittam virancha stata karma virya pradur babhuva mritya bhuradityam chaturbhuja shankhya gadabja chakraha pishanga vasa nilanayate kshanaha. Sukadev Goswami said, after Lord Brahma had thus spoken, glorifying the Supreme Lord's activities and prowess, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is never subject to death like an ordinary living being, appeared from the womb of Aditi. His 4 hands were decorated with a conch shell, club, lotus, and disc. He was dressed in yellow garments, and his eyes appeared like the petals of a blooming lotus. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So, and then, of course, Sukdev Goswami is saying, and whom Sukdev Goswami is speaking to?
Parikshit Maharaj.
Parikshit Maharaj, right? As we know, this whole Srimad Bhagavatam is recited to Parikshit Maharaj, and by none other than Sukdev Goswami ji, yeah, who is son of Vedvyas ji, and he is the highest devotee, right? Highest devotee in the world, including Brahmacharya. So Sukdev Goswami ji is speaking, he's telling Parikshit Maharaj that after Lord Brahma glorified, Lord actually appeared, right? Lord appeared from the womb of Aditi. And how did he appear? Every time we read this, right? He appears as Chaturbhuja. Yeah. Lord Vishnu appears Chaturbhuja. And on all his 4 hands, what does he have? Shankh, Gada, Abz, and Chakra. Yeah. We know Shankh, we know Gada. Abz is the lotus flower, right? And Chakra. Yeah. So we know that the 4 hands are decorated with the conch, shell, club, lotus, and disc. Shankh, Chakra, Gada, Abj. Yeah. And he's, of course, Pishanga Vasa, means he's dressed in yellow garments. And of course, his eyes appear like the petals of a blooming lotus. Nalin, yeah, itek Shanah. Yeah. That's how Lord Vishnu appeared to Mother Aditi. Yeah. And again, a nice purport. Let's read this, Rinaji. I don't see her. Sorry, Sachin.
The word Amrita Bhuva is significant in this verse. The Lord sometimes appears like an ordinary child taking birth, but this does not mean that he is subject to birth, death, or old age. One must be very intelligent to understand the appearance and activities of the Supreme Lord in his incarnations. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 4.9. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vetti tattva. One should try to understand that the Lord's appearance and disappearance and his activities are all divyam or transcendental. The Lord has nothing to do with material activities. One who understands the appearance, disappearance, and activities of Lord is immediately liberated. After giving up his body, he never again has to accept a material body, but is transferred to the spiritual world. Tyaktva deham punar janma naiti mama iti so Arjuna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. What is being mentioned here is people, right, who understand the activities of the Lord. They can distinguish that his activity is not the material activities, his appearance, disappearance, and all that, right, is not the material activities. All activities are transcendental, right? Who understands this, who get devoted to Lord Shri Vishnu, right? And doing the devotional service gets liberated, is what is mentioned. And of course, once somebody is liberated means going back to Godhead, he never takes a material body again, never falls into the cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease. And this is what was mentioned in Bhagavad Gita itself as well. Shyamavadatu Chakshiraj Visholla Shri Vadana Ambujah Puman Sri Vatsavaksha Balyanga Dolash Kirita Kanchi Gunacharunu Purah. The body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, blackish in complexion, was free from all inabilities. His lotus face, decorated with earrings resembling sharks, appeared very beautiful. And on his bosom was the mark of Srivats. He wore bangles on his wrists, armlets on his arms, a helmet on his head, a belt on his waist, a sacred thread across his chest, and ankle bells decorating his lotus feet. Right? So this is how Srivats Vaksha. Yeah, as we know, Srivats mark, Sri Lakshmi's mark is on his chest. That's how Lord Vishnu appears. And that's what is being described by Sukdev Goswami. Yeah? Anilji?
Madhu Brata Brata Vigushtya Swaya Virajita Shrivan Malaya Hari Prajapatir Veshamatmaha Swarochisha Vinashan Kantha Nivishta Kaustuva. An uncommonly beautiful garland of flowers decorated his bosom, and because the flowers were extremely fragrant, a large group of bees, making their natural humming sounds, invaded them for honey. When the Lord appeared wearing the kaustubh gem on his neck, his effulgence vanquished the darkness in the home of the Prajapati Kashyapa. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so the Kaustubh money, of course, Lord Vishnu always appears with the Kaustubh money, right? And as we see, Virajita Srivan Malya, and you see in the home of the Prajapati Kashyap, right? As we can see, Kashyap Muni is also referred as Prajapati. Yeah. Shri Prabhu?
Yeah. Disha praseduha salilashyastada prajaha prahashta ritvo gunaninvatah dhaurantariksham shitarginjihva gavo dvijah sanjahirshnagascha. At that time, there was happiness in all directions. In the reservoir of water, like the rivers and oceans, and in the core of everyone's heart, the various seasons displayed their respective qualities, and all living entities in the upper planetary system, in outer space, and on the surface of the earth were jubilant. The demigods, the cows, the brahmanas, and the hills and mountains were all filled with joy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so all around in all the 14 planets, right? Everyone was filled with joy. Ajay?
Shronayam Shravan Dwarshya Muhurta Abhijit Prabhu Sarve Nakshatra Taradya Shrakust Jajanma Dakshinam. On the day of Shravan Devdasi, the 12th day of Dwadashi, the 12th day of bright fortnight in the month of Bhadra, when the moon came into the lunar mansion Shravana, at the auspicious moment of Abhijit, the Lord appeared in the universe. Considering the Lord's appearance very auspicious, all the stars and planets from the sun to Saturn were munificently charitable. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. This is how the Lord's appearance is being described. Right? Isha?
Dvadashyam Savitatishtan Madhyandina Gato Nipa Vijaya Nama Sa Prokta Yashyam Janma Vidur Hare. O King, when the Lord appeared on Dwadashi, the 12th day of the moon, the sun was at the meridian, as every learned scholar knows. This Dwadashi is called Vijaya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So of course Sukdev Goswami is telling, O King Parikshit Maharaj, right? That Lord appeared on Dwadashi, that 12th day of the Lord. Sachin?
Shankha Dundo Bhayo Nedur Mridanga Pada Vanakaha Chitravaditra Turyanam Nirghoshyastu Mulo Abhavat. Conch shells, kettle drums, panavas, and anakas vibrated in the concert. The sound of these and various other instruments was tremendous. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we'll hear all the Shank and Dubli. Okay. Pitaksha Parasuva Nityan Gandharva Pravarajagu Tustu Maranayo Deva Manavaha Pitro Agnaya. Being very pleased, the celestial dancing girls Apsaras danced in jubilation. The best of the Gandharvas sang songs, and the great sages, demigods, Manus, Pitas, and fire gods offered prayers to satisfy the Lord. Yeah, everyone offered the prayers. So actually, we can pause here. Yeah, and as we know how Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared, right? We'll continue to read this tomorrow and day after tomorrow. So right now, let's pause. And because of the Ganesh Chaturthi, we are going to hear the Ganesh Aarti today. And
दुख हरता वार्ता विघ्नाची दुर्वी पूर्वी प्रेम कृपा जयाची सर्वांगी सुंदर उटी शेंदुराची कंठी झळके माळ मुक्ता फळांची जय देव जय देव मंगलमूर्ती दर्शन मात्रे मन कामना पूर्ती भरा तुझ गौरी कुमरा चंदनाची उटी कुंकुम केशरा हिरे जडित मुकुट शोभतो बरा ऋणझुणती नुपुरे चरणी घागरिया जय देव जय देव दर्शन मात्रे मन कामना पूर्ती जय देव जय देव पीतांबर फणीवर बंधना सरळ सोंड वक्रतुंड त्रिनयना दास रामाचा वाट पाहे सदना संकटी पावावे निर्वाणी रक्षावे सुरवर वंदना जय देव जय देव जय देव जय देव जय मंगलमूर्ती दर्शन मात्रे मन कामना पूर्ती जय देव जय देव सिंदूर लाल चढ़ायो अच्छा गज मुख को दोन दिल लाल विराजे सुख गौरी हर को हाथ लिए गुड़ लड्डू साई सुरवर को महिमा कहे न जाए लागत हूँ बद को जय देव जय देव जय जय जी गणराज विद्या सुखदाता नंद तुम्हारो दर्शन मेरा मन रमता जय देव जय देव अष्ट सिद्धि दासी संकट को बैरी विघ्न विनाशन मंगल मूर्त अधिकारी कोटि सूरज प्रकाश ऐसी शब तेरी दंडस्थल मस्तक झूले शशि बहारी जय देव जय देव जय जय जी गणराज विद्या सुखदाता नंद तुम्हारो दर्शन मेरा मन रमता जय देव जय देव भाव भगत से कोई शरणागत आवे संतत संपत सब ही भरपूर पावे ऐसे तुम
Right? So nice Ganesh Aarti. I think few more days. Yeah, certain places. I don't know if you see the Ganesh of Lal. If you see the Ganesh from Lal Bagh or from Siddhi Vinayak, right? Very nice darshan going on. And so that's cool. And actually, we'll hear one more Ganeshji's Pratna. Yeah, since we have a few more minutes. Hare Krishna Prem.
Hare Krishna Gavindraji.
Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Namo Namaha Shri Siddhi Vinayaka Namo Namaha Ashta Vinayaka Namo Namaha Ganapati Bappa Moria Mangala Murti Moria Om Ganapati Namo Namaha Shri Siddhi Vinayaka Namo Namaha Ashta Vinayaka Namo Namaha Ganapati Bappa Moria, Mangal Murti Moria, Om Ganganapati Namo Namaha, Sri Siddhi Vinayak Namo Namaha, Ashta Vinayak Namo Namaha, Ganapati Bappa Moria, Mangal Murti Moria, Om Ganganapati Namo Namaha, Sri Siddhi Vinayak Namo Namaha, Vinayak Namo Namaha Ganapati Bappa Moria Mangal Murti Moria. Sukha Karta Dukha Harta Varta Vignachi Durvi Purvi Prem Krupa Jayachi Sarvangi Sundar Utishendu Rachi Kanthi Jalke Mal Mukta Fadanchi Jai Dev Jai Dev Jai Dev Jai Dev Jai Mangal Murti Darshan Matre Man Kamana Purti Jai Dev Jai Dev Jai Dev Jai Dev Jai Mangal Murti Darshan Matre Man Kamana Purti Jai Dev Jai Dev. Khachita Fara Duzgari Kumra Chandanachi Uti Kumkum Keshara Hire Jarita Mukta Shobhato Bara Runa Surti Nupure Charani Gagariya Jai Dev Jai Dev Jai Dev Jai Dev Jai Mangal Murti Darshan Matre Man Kamana Purti मूर्ति जय देव जय देव जय देव जय देव जय मंगल मूर्ति दर्शन मात्रे मान कामना पूर्ति जय देव जय देव लंबोदर पीतांबर फणिवर बंधना सरळ सुंड वक्रतुंड त्रिनयना दासरामाचा वाट पाहे सदना संकटी पावावे निर्वाणी रक्षावे सुरवर वंदना जय देव जय देव जय देव जय देव जय मंगल मूर्ति दर्शन मात्रे मान कामना पूर्ति जय देव जय देव जय देव जय देव जय मंगल मूर्ति दर्शन मात्रे मान कामना पूर्ति जय देव जय देव शेंदूर लाल चढ़ायो अच्छा गज मुख को दो दिल लाल बिराज सुत गौरी हर को हाथ लिए गुड़ लड्डू साई सुरवर को महिमा कहे न जाए लागत हूँ पद को जय देव जय देव जय जय जी गणराज विद्या सुखदाता धन्य तुम्हारो दर्शन मेरा मन रमता जय देव जय देव जय जय जी गणराज विद्या सुखदाता धन्य तुम्हारो दर्शन मेरा मन रमता जय देव जय देव अष्टौ सिद्धि दासी संकट को बैरी विघ्न विनाशन मंगल मूरत अधिकारी कोटि सूरज प्रकाश ऐसी छवि तेरी खंडस्थल मदमस्तक चुले शशि बिहारी जय देव जय देव जय जय जी गणराज विद्या सुखदाता धन्य तुम्हारो दर्शन मेरा मन रमता जय देव जय देव जय जय जी गणराज विद्या सुखदाता धन्य तुम्हारो दर्शन मेरा मन रमता जय देव जय देव भाव भगत से कोई शरणागत आवे संतत संपत सब ही भरपूर पावे ऐसे तुम महाराज मोको अति भावे गोसावी नंदन निश दिन गुण गावे जय देव जय देव जय जय जी गणराज विद्या सुखदाता धन्य तुम्हारो दर्शन मेरा मन रमता जय देव जय देव जय जय जी गणराज विद्या सुखदाता धन्य तुम्हारो दर्शन मेरा मन रमता जय देव जय देव जय देव जय देव जय मंगल मूर्ति दर्शन मात्रे मान कामना पूर्ति जय देव जय देव जय देव जय देव जय मंगल मूर्ति दर्शन मात्रे मान कामना पूर्ति जय देव जय देव गणपति नमो नमः श्री सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः अष्ट विनायक नमो नमः गणपति बप्पा मोरया।
All right, so nice to do Ganesh Aarti during this celebration. I know in Mumbai and everywhere else it's huge thing, right? And
Yeah, it is.
Hmm?
It's pretty big out here also every day.
Yes. Going to Ganpatis. Yeah, in America also now, you know, pretty much everywhere we are celebrating this, which is so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, even in our neighborhoods we have Ganpati and it's perfect. And of course, we start Srimad Bhagavatam with Ganeshji's prayers. And if you know, Ved Vyasji wrote, Ved Vyasji has spoken Srimad Bhagavatam, right? He's the one who composed everything, but who wrote it actually?
Ganesh Maharaj.
Yeah. So Ganeshji Maharaj wrote it without a stop. Nobody else could write with this speed. Only Ganeshji could do that. And of course, we pray to Ganeshji every time we start anything new or anything we start. So that's great. So Bolo Ganpati Ananda Bhagwan ki. So thank you so much. Slowly, we are little bit over time. Tomorrow we'll continue. I know there is a debate, but we will continue our Srimad Bhagavatam, far more important. And then on Wednesday there is Radha Ashtami. So we are going to hear beautiful Radha Kavach. That's just amazing. Okay. So see you tomorrow at 9:30. Hare
Okay,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.